Yo, yo, yo.
What is up, LJ? How are you, man?
I'm golden, baby. What about you?
I'm doing really good. Doing really good. Things are moving right along. Just doing the best we can here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Well, I don't know. Again, I don't know if you know this, and this is just kind of an education one today, LJ. We're going to sit back, relax, and talk about one of my favorite things, and that is old ass film.
Yeah. I'm good with that. Like old, like 80s, 70s, 80s film.
Yeah, 70s and 80s films. I think you'll get the gist of it here in just a second, because there's something that was released and it's going to be like released in different formats and stuff like this. And there's been a lot of debate over it, LJ. A lot of people who love this series of films has, if you can imagine, fanboys have
Some
been
heartburn.
Yeah, and I can understand why. So let's take a look at
fanboys.
Yeah, let's take a look at this thing here, and then we'll just watch it, and then we'll just get your honest reaction here.
His dense molecular structure would make him strong. He'd be fast, virtually invulnerable.
What? I didn't know that.
Got you. You've got me. Who's got you?
Yeah, man.
I want the name of this flying whatchamacallit to go with the Daily Planet like bacon and eggs. Why are you here? I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way. Hi there. Something wrong with the elevator? Going down.
I love that.
500 megaton bomb would destroy most of California. Is that how a warped brain like yours gets its kicks? By planning a death of innocent people? No, by causing the death of innocent people. Three
That's-
villains, each one with the same power he has. The three of us will crush the son of our Jacob.
I'm beginning to get the picture.
That's so cool.
General, would you care to step outside?
Yay.
That's pretty cool. They're putting it all together.
Yeah, it really is.
That's never been done before. I figured by this point that'd be done.
Nope.
You know?
Well, so that's what I wanted to talk with you about. Like what they do, the process that goes through it. So they start off with like the negative film that it was cut together with the raw film, you know,
What?
and they rescan it and do a recoloring of it. So they pretty much start all over and try to maintain as well as they can the cohesiveness of the film, of the original film. So isn't that nuts?
Well,
So-
I didn't think that it was be okay. So the way I would understand putting everything in sort of just a series of films, is that you would have, here's one movie, here's the second movie, the third, whatever, and so on, and just put it together in a package, right? Like a DVD
Sure.
package or something.
But what that is, LJ, is like ultra high definition. So they can't keep going up from what they've scanned originally, because it's only
see.
been, you know, they can't keep making copies of it. So they have to go back to the original film that's preserved. So
No
this is-
shit. So I guess they
Yeah.
still have the original film somewhere,
they
right?
do. So this goes, they released some special features with Jaws. And I just wanted to take a look at this.
Oh, cool.
And it kind of goes into how they do it. And it's crazy to think that every time, see what happens is, my understanding is that they have an original cut of the film from the film from the camera, right? And
Right,
then
right.
they make a master print of that. And that's the one that they color around and everything.
I see.
These, they're stored.
That is so crazy. I wonder
Yeah.
how difficult it is to take something that's so analog and digitize it today.
Well, yeah, when I used to work in a recording studio and they would have like records that are tapes, 2-inch 24 track reel to reel tapes that were in from like the 70s and 60s and stuff, and they had begun to deteriorate. And so you would take them. This is what you would have to do for the audio. You would take them and you would bake them at a certain temperature. And then that would, because the ink would smear if you tried to play it. Or they used a certain type of whale blubber on the reel to reel tape. This is my understanding. I could be.
So whales died for this.
Well.
Well.
But that's my understanding of it, and that after a while that began to deteriorate and wouldn't stick to the plastic that was the film or the audio tape. So you had to bake it, and then you got one or maybe two chances to run it through an audio or analog to digital converter, and that's how you salvage that if you could.
Dang.
But that was for stuff that was close to the end. But anyway, this is something that kind of goes over Jaws, or it's released from Jaws, about how they did stuff like that. So
cool.
Universal definitely has an intense commitment to preservation and restoration of its film library. The restoration of Jaws is a tremendous responsibility.
Centennial Project is Universal Pictures' 100th anniversary. We are releasing 100 of our titles, 13 of our classic titles.
And Warner Brothers is doing something similar like this. That's why that thing had 100 years of Warner Brothers.
I see.
So
that's cool.
Yeah. And so they have the originals of all this. See, it's all stored in climate-controlled spaces. So,
and I bet those places are well protected too, man.
Oh yeah. See, it's different pieces of film, audio parts.
Wow.
This right here. So that's the original film. And that's why they call it a negative, is because you saw the colors were inverted.
And then the techniques they have to do this, it's nuts.
Yeah. See, watch this. See how it comes, all those scratches on that little piece of film came off? And they're photographing this at like a high resolution. And this will become their new, depending on how high our technology is at the time, master. That's their 4K scan. And they'll use that to distribute future things from now on.
Yeah.
So see that they have to cut his arm from another part of the film and try to, fix all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
color.
see the color, yeah.
Wow.
Those windows fit a match cut. Balance out.
Yeah.
Nothing materially was changed about the film. Really good
Wow.
TV screen looks better than the film looked when first projected in 1975.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
Right there.
Probably from a,
Dang.
We're very sensitive to
yeah.
Yeah.
So they're splitting that 24 track into different tracks.
Did. Yeah.
Yeah, see how they've split each track now, and they can have, now they're redoing a mix.
That's cool. I'm excited to see the movie now when it's digitally remastered,
Why do I sound like you're trying to convince me, Steven?
Yeah, right. You're like, this isn't a classic movie. Who knows about Jaws? Nobody's ever heard of that movie before.
Yeah.
Oh, he was the director. Steven Spielberg?
Yeah.
Should I have known that?
Well, I would have.
Well, I mean, they were interviewing him. I guess I should have given it away, but I was just like, oh, well, he's a badass film director. I figured they would just interview him for his feedback anyway, you know?
Well, he is a badass film director. So, but he also directed that, LJ. So, really good. Let's see here. Just adjusting my light.
That is cool to see. Obviously, you know, when you see something or you hear something or you see that's printed on the TV or on the packaging, it says digitally remastered or, you know, something like that. I listen to a lot of course, you know, this Pantera and old school heavy metal, but sometimes I listen to some of those Pantera albums and it'll say on the cover on like Pandora or on Amazon Music, it'll say digitally remastered.
Yeah.
And you can hear how crisp the music sounds. I mean, it sounds so much better than it would have sounded. Because I remember hearing the originals on the CD and the way they sound today, digitally remastered, it sounds way better, man.
Oh,
I mean, it's crazy the difference.
And even on like records sound so good. You know, that's just that's the best stuff. So, well, a lot of people that's great stuff. What we saw, that's really interesting that they're doing something like that. You know, it's amazing. But if you can believe it, LJ, some people don't like that.
Well, yeah, I guess preserving the original and not. I mean, it's just like I'm sure there's people today that refuse to listen to music digitally. They like their 8-track or they like their records, right? Because the way that it sounds, the authenticity. Well, I'm just using that as an example. I don't know. Maybe there is. Maybe there is. Maybe there isn't.
Dude, let me show you something else. Like we went backwards, okay?
Yeah, right. You know, because I can't like now. I guess in the era we grew up in the era of CDs.
Yeah.
Right. But the generation before, there were cassette tapes. I do remember cassette tapes early on when I was a lot smaller.
Oh, yeah.
But growing up, it was more CDs and CD players.
Right.
But I mean, even the technology that we had during the 90s and the 2000s, that was, I mean, to put it on a CD, I mean,
it was a step
that was bad. You think so? I thought it was a step up. Like,
no, but
it's digital.
Wise, it was a step down. Like MP3s have less frequencies than like a normal wave file or something like that. And so,
you're talking in terms of the audio file itself.
Quality. Yeah.
I see.
Quality. Yeah.
See, so, I thought the quality was better. Like when you listen to a cassette tape versus a CD.
Well, maybe not a cassette tape, but maybe a record.
Oh, well, yeah. So because I guess I'm comparing apples to oranges, right?
Yeah, because it's tape. Tape quality is good, and tape is only as good as the tape player. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So if you don't have a good tape player at home, you know, then you're not going to be able to really.
Well, I guess that's safe. That's kind of safe to say about things even today. You know, the audio that we get on our cell phones with our little speakers sucks ass sometimes, and then you connect it to your car stereo, and it sounds 10 times better. You know,
it's funny. Well, those little speakers in your ears can't reproduce all those frequencies.
No.
But yeah, some people, like I said, you know, just don't care for that, and they don't want they don't like it out there. They just don't like it. Okay.
Yeah, well, they should like it because it's cooler.
Well, let's compare a couple things here. Let me get back to.
But I get the nostalgia, right, of watching the original film.
Yeah. So because a lot of those films and a lot of the audio, I guess if you go back, I don't know if they printed the effects and stuff to tape, then, you know, those are kind of set. You can't really do a lot with that. All you can do, they just really just kind of color correct it. And that's where a lot of the things like, I don't know if you've seen the latest Batman 89 release in like 4K, but it's very blue. Yeah. And the original film was not shaded blue. And So let's just look at some of these effects here that were done for the original
Okay, I'm down for that.
Let's listen to the dialogue here because I just want you to. This is going to be some of the scenes that are included as bonus features coming up in the new release, I believe. So if I'm not,
So this is what's remastered, right? To be made
No,
sound better. Or no?
this what we're about to see is not remastered. Oh no, we're about to watch the original. We are
Okay.
It's the
The
original,
original.
but with additional dialogue. So I just want you just to pay attention to the dialogue too. It's pretty cool. Is it too loud?
No, it's perfect. I'm just pushing him in so I can really hear him.
So this effect, they will never ever be able to duplicate again. Even this transition, but look at the grain in the corners. See how it's got so much flickering because they have so much effects going on that until they cut right there, then it's clear again. And when they go back, see, it's all cleaned up. So
that's pretty clean though. Still, I mean, for what that time, you know.
The knowledge here in this fortress of solitude, we shall try to find the answers together. How does a good man live? What is virtue? When does a man's obligation to those around him exceed his obligation to himself? Well, these are not simple questions. Even on Krypton, there is no precise science.
Looks like Dracula, dude. What the hell is he wearing?
He's just wearing a coat. So now you can see that's obviously another shot of Brando.
Yes.
And another one that they're going to use to zoom in to achieve this dissolve.
Even though you've been raised as a human being, you are not one of them. You have
Go into his eyeball.
So that also, I love the dialogue there where he's like, how does a good man live? What is virtue? When does a man's obligations to those around him exceed his obligations to himself? These are not, easy questions.
No, of course not.
Precise science, even on Krypton. He says Krypton.
This is too complicated, okay?
Yeah.
Krypton.
But he says, Krypton. I can only tell you what myself believe. What I myself believe. And I think that's just an amazing bit of dialogue that they sadly had to cut. And it was nice that we got to see it with the effects again. So that looked pretty good, right?
It did.
Yeah. For being in the 70s.
The 70s, yeah.
So this is an additional scene that was included in I guess it was an extended cut of Superman 1. I guess it was this same one. But then they went back and used it for Superman 2. I think no, actually the same guy who colored this went back and did the Donner cut of Superman 2. So anyway, we'll go into depth sometime about the Donner cut. But I'm going to show you this.
Enjoyed it. I don't know what to say to this, my son. You couldn't have imagined how good it felt.
Looks great. I'm glad we got to see this footage.
Why? The reasons are two. First, you cannot serve humanity 28 hours a day. Your help would be called for endlessly, even for those tasks that human beings could solve themselves. Your enemies would discover their only way to hurt you by hurting the people you care for. An affliction common to all, even on Krypton. Our destruction could have been avoided but for the some hope it's strong.
Hmm.
Indestructible.
Okay, so he fades away, and he's. I think you'll remember this. Do you remember this shot? I don't know if you've ever seen that before. All right. So that is an example of how bad color grading can be after the fact. Because Jarrell's face just was not consistent. Did you know?
No.
It
It didn't look similar either.
Yeah. Even shot to shot between the same scene, it changed. Like someone was like leaning on the color grade, the color grade knob. They're just like, all right, is that okay? Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's looking good. Looking good.
That guy should have been fired.
I don't know. I'm trying not to be ever that harsh, but I know he did the best that he could, probably with extremely limited resources.
Right.
But I mean, we were just excited to see that footage, So
and okay, so that they're coming out with that one, but it's gonna be way cleaner, right?
It's going to be cleaner, yeah, apparently. But some people have seen it and they've given reviews on it. I'm going to see if I can get my hands on a copy of it and try to see. But the thing is, I don't have a 4K player, so it's only going to be as good as my TV.
So your TV's not 4K?
No.
I don't think. I think mine is.
So, but that's
one of mine.
Well, you should get it and tell me how it is. But it's all 5 movies. It's Superman 1, Superman 2, the Donner cut of Superman 2, Superman 3 with Richard Pryor, and Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. So that's 5 different movies.
Damn.
Yeah. And yeah. So what happened with the Donner cut of Superman 2? Well, we'll go into it some other time. I'll just tell you a brief story that the original director finished 1. No, we're not going to go into this. It's too big of a thing.
I think I remember that, right? And then somebody else had to take over.
Yeah, they didn't get along and fired him after the release of the first one, pretty much. So. And that's why there are 2 cuts of Superman 2, because his 60-70% was still in a vault in England. And they allowed them to go back and recut that movie. So you got to see a lot of blend of footage that you wouldn't normally see, or that you would never have seen, really. So, yeah. But there's still a lot of footage of Superman 1 that's out there. And there's lots of websites that are dedicated to this, like Caped Wonder and Superman homepage. They're way more knowledgeable than I am, but I
run those websites. So you want access to them, I'll hook you up.
I thought you were an admin on one of them. Yeah, but. Anyway, that's exciting because they're going to be releasing those versions, I guess, to be streaming as well. And so maybe I can watch them that way.
Dang it. I just spilled my beer, man. At times. Not all of it, though. But...
Not all of it. Well, that's good. That's good. Well, on that note, we can end this. You have been listening to K. Oh, I'm Casey Jones, and this is LJ Solar.
Yo.
And his spilt beer.
A spilled beer over here. Damn it. It's okay. I got to figure it out. It's cleaned.